rice cookers. Welcome back. In the last episode, we managed to get the starter system working, upload a tune to Kpro, use Radiator for the first time, and actually get this to run. Running out of stuff to do because I'm waiting on a couple pieces. It seems to be the story of this build. So let's see what we can get done today. Start off with some vacuum stuff, the brake booster, because when we did start this it revved quite high, so obviously vacuum leaks, pretty major ones. So let's get into it. Alright, so vacuum obviously needs to go from here to the brake booster here. The one-way valve is right here, so we need to make sure we keep that section there. I've got this off of, I think it was the K24. So I'm probably going to run that maybe there somewhere. This pipe will go under there to join up with this somewhere. Probably find another section of this that I've got spare off another engine and just cut it up and use it to join some pipe together. It's kind of ugly, but do I care? I just kind of need it to do its job. Let's see how that fits with the cover on here. And we've also got to block this one off. Let's see if I got another one of these that'll work. This one was originally off this engine, I think, and when it was removed, something damaged it here. The pipe's not leaking, it's just a little bit crushed, but it actually kind of puts all of this in the best location. Kind of sits more naturally at this height instead of way over here like it was with the other one. So let's get some bolts in this. Might have to cut some of these excess pieces off because I don't think I'll be using any of that. That actually lines up pretty good right there. Just cut that 90-degree piece off. Get a straight piece out of this. Join the two together right about there. About there. Okay, so we'll make cuts to this one, and we'll also make some cuts to this one. Probably about there. And then that'll go in line with that. Let's put this end in here. Yeah, it looks like that's going to line up nicely there. Now if I slide this over that, you won't even know that's joined together. And we'll probably end up taking this back off and cutting off all this excess stuff. We don't really need it. But for now it's just going to stay like that. This is the vacuum line that I need to get rid of since I've deleted the warm-up thing or whatever the hell it was called. Right, I got a piece of rubber pipe here with a bolt wound into it with some 3-bond on the thread. Let's slide this fecker on like that. Cool. Right, it covers this, no worries. So that vacuum's blocked off. This one's running to the brake booster, and I've just got to deal with this one next. That little feck. Okay, I found this in the stash pile. It's just a little delete or plug. Can't remember what it came off of. Gonna chuck a little 3-bond on that and slide this thing over it. Something like that. I think it's about time I start figuring out how I'm going to route all of the power steering system. So to start with, we can get rid of this bracket. It was the old bracket. Obviously you can't put anything there because it's going to hit the belt. So we'll get rid of that, and then we'll start looking at the rest of the bits that we haven't fitted yet. And if you want to see any of the power steering stuff on the rack side, there'll be a link in the description to the steering rack and how it's all put together. This line here, which comes off the steering rack that I had running this way, isn't really going to suit running that way. It's probably going to be better suited to run this side. I was going to locate the power steering reservoir over here, but with the intake being on this side and this side not really being utilized for anything, I think I'm going to try and squeeze the reservoir and all the piping over here, and then we're going to have to run the cooler into the front bumper. So in preparation for that, let's take off this front grille just so we have a little bit of more of a view into the back side of the radiator and the other side of the condenser. And well, sorry, there's no radiator in here, so it's just the condenser. Let's get this off. Well, how's that for timing? The radiator I was just waiting on just turned up. See what we're working with. Now I believe this is a EP3 radiator. I have to check my order, but it's either EP3 or DC5. Both apparently should work for this chassis. I might have to narrow the mounts, but yeah. What the hell? Got a box within a box. Okay. A little bit of damage there. Looks like it's had a bit of a smush on something. The front looks good. Right. Let's see how this bad boy lines up in there. Okay, so they're gonna have to adjust those tabs in. Now, will these fans fit between here and here? That's the next question. But that's a question for another day, because right now I just need to have this in here to see how I'm gonna run the lines for the power steering cooler. So this has given us that information. Now that we know what kind of space we're working with behind the radiator and condenser, I've got a better idea of which direction lines can run. So let's get rid of this front grille. And here is the cooler. So this is going to go down in the front here somewhere, and then this line's going to come out of the rack and go into it, and then it's going to come back out this end and go to here. Okay, so what I've got here is the line coming out of the back from the rack just down there. It's following through here. It's going through this little gap where the loom is below the headlight, and it's going down the front bumper, down here, and then I've got the cooler sitting right there, and I think that's going to work. So now I just got to run another line for either the top or the bottom, probably up through the same location up to here, and hopefully this is enough length to get the job done. Alright, got to run another hose down through here. I wonder if I can use probably don't need to use the same hole. Probably use the old air filter hole, pipe hole there. This is the one I've run through the hole for the factory airbox. Just reading through the instructions for this kit, and it looks like you just push fit these on. You don't need clamps or anything. Just push them on. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably need to get a little bit of grease on these fittings and push them on. And they should self-lock into place. Okay, I got one line on, and to do that I've used a heat gun on the rubber hose just to get it a bit softer, and a little bit of engine oil on this metal fitting because they are very tough to get on there. Let's heat this one up and then slide her on. Slider. Cool. Probably needs to go something like that. Gonna stick a couple foam pads behind it where the zip ties run through. There's actually a little hole. I got one zip tie through on this side and one on that side. Now it's time to put the holding part of it on the other side, and that'll be it for the cooler. Alright, now that we're on the other side of the condenser here, you can put some zip ties on here, like so. That's the cooler side. Now we got to work on the reservoir. Yeah, that line's going to be good there. Okay, next we've got the reservoir to deal with. So obviously I'm going to go with a brand new one, but I'm going to reuse the fill line to the pump. Got that fitting off. We can now put it in here, so, and tighten this thing up. And why the hell isn't that tightening up? Oh, come on. What the f is going on? What the f? Is there no thread in that? Are you fucking with me? Alright. Let's see if we can run it this way. No, that's not going to work, is it? Okay, so I've just gone over to the K20 engine that I have under the bench over there. And the orientation of the threaded hole here is different. This seems to be the same. It all appears to be the same, it's just the angle of this has changed, this fitting. So what I'm going to do is take this line off and take the belt off of here and see if we can put the K20 power steering pump on here to get the correct fitting on. I mean, yeah, the only other way I can think of doing it is if you had a way to tap this thread. You could tap it for a 10 mil or whatever this is. Yeah, whatever. We need to swap this pump out. One 12 mil here and one 12 mil down in here underneath. It looks like it's going to be good. I'll just get this tightened up. Good. Now the next one. What a screw around just for the right fitting on there. We should now be able to move on to fitting the reservoir in here. Right, I think that will do. Might have to make a cut here and extend the line. This one coming from the rack and going down front of the headlight to the front of the condenser where the cooler is. This one here runs down through the hole for the old intake system. And then this one supplies the fluid over. And with that, that is the power steering system looped up. Next up, we will be doing probably the radiator. We have to get rid of the spot welds and move those tabs over. Power steering. Power source. Yeah, power steering rack. Hooked up to its cooler. Routed to the pump. Big steps, bit of a nothing week, but we got there. Make sure you subscribe because it really helps me out, and see you in the next one. Slowly chipping away at it. Power source.